You keep losing words in the middle of sentences. You walk into rooms and forget why you came. You used to be sharp. You used to be organized. And now even simple decisions feel like trying to think through water. People at work are looking at you differently. You can feel it. The patience is wearing thin, and a part of you wonders if this is permanent, if the person you were before is simply gone. I need to tell you something about what is happening inside your brain, because nobody has explained it clearly enough. What you are experiencing has a name. Grief researchers and neurologists call it grief brain, and it is not metaphorical. It is not you being dramatic. It is a measurable, documented neurological phenomenon. When grief enters the body, cortisol, the primary stress hormone, floods the system at levels the body rarely sustains. Cortisol, at sustained elevated levels, affects the hippocampus, the brain structure responsible for memory and learning. This is why you cannot remember things the way you used to. The hippocampus is operating under chronic stress conditions. It is not damaged. It is not broken. It is running in emergency mode, which uses a different part of the brain's processing capacity. The prefrontal cortex, responsible for planning, decision-making, and emotional regulation, is also affected when the amygdala is hyperactive with grief signals. The prefrontal cortex has to work significantly harder to maintain normal function, which is why decisions feel enormous. Why you cannot choose what to eat for dinner without it feeling like a test you will fail. The brain is not deficient. It is overloaded, and it is allocating resources to survival, not productivity. Researchers who study grief have documented this phenomenon across multiple studies. Brain imaging in bereaved individuals shows altered activity in multiple regions, including areas responsible for attention, concentration, and emotional processing. In other words, the science confirms what you already know in your body. You are not the same as you were before, and that is not a personal failure. It is a neurological response. Here is what this means practically. You are spending enormous cognitive energy just existing right now. The grief is using processing power that used to go toward normal functioning. And something has to give. And what gives, often, is memory, focus, the ability to hold complex thoughts, the sense of being present in a room. These are not signs of permanent change. They are signs of a brain under extraordinary strain. A brain that is spending most of its available resources on surviving something catastrophic. And surviving something catastrophic takes everything. It is supposed to. That is what survival requires. There is another aspect of grief brain that is less discussed, but equally important. Grief alters the sense of time. Many bereaved people report that time feels distorted, days feel both endless and fast. That the hours in between moments of acute grief feel fuzzy, like passing through fog. This is the brain trying to regulate the experience, to create distance between the self and the pain. It is not dissociation in a pathological sense. It is a protective adaptation of a brain under stress. And it can be deeply disorienting to feel present one moment and absent the next, without choosing to be either. You are not losing your mind. You are not becoming someone else. You are in the middle of a cognitive adaptation, a brain-wide reorganization in response to a loss that changed the fundamental shape of your life. That reorganization takes time. More time than anyone tells you. More time than the world is willing to offer. But the research is clear on one important point. Grief brain is not permanent. as cortisol levels gradually normalize as the acute phase of grief softens. The hippocampus and prefrontal cortex return toward their previous function. You will not be this foggy forever. The words will come back. The decisions will get easier, not because the grief will disappear, but because the brain is remarkably adaptive. It finds new equilibrium, even after catastrophic disruption. And in the meantime, what you need is not optimization, not productivity, not high performance. You need patience from yourself and from whoever is willing to offer it. You need permission to function at a different level than you used to ask for help, to say, I am not okay right now and I need support. That is not weakness. That is accurate self-assessment under extraordinarily difficult conditions. Tonight, if you feel like you are losing yourself to the fog, know this. The fog is a response, not a destination, not who you are becoming. It is what happens when the brain is asked to carry more than it was designed for, and it responds by protecting you as best it can. You are still in there, underneath the fog, still thinking, still feeling, still surviving. And the brain that feels broken right now is the same brain that got you this far, which means it is stronger than you think. Leave a comment and tell me, what does grief brain feel like for you? What has been the hardest part? Your answer might be exactly what someone else needs to. Here to feel less alone in their own fog, because grief brain is one of the most isolating parts of this experience. The world expects you to function. And you are trying to function, but functioning feels like running through water. And you cannot always explain to someone why a simple email took 40 minutes. Why you had to read the same paragraph 4 times and still don't know what it said. Why you sat in the parking lot for 10 minutes before you could make yourself go inside. These are not failures. These are the costs of carrying what you are carrying while still trying to show up. And the fact that you are still showing up, even imperfectly, even slowly, is remarkable. So give yourself the credit you would give to anyone else doing what you are doing. A person with a broken leg who keeps walking is not weak for walking slowly. They are extraordinary for walking at all. You have a broken something too, a break in the structure of your expected future, a break in the life you were building, and you are still walking, slower, foggier, with enormous effort in the things that used to be automatic. That is not failure. That is one of the bravest things a person can do. The brain will reorganize. The fog will thin. The words will come back a little more reliably. Not all at once. Not on a schedule anyone can give you, but steadily. Over time, as the acute stress settles. And in the meantime, rest when you can. Reduce the decisions that don't matter. Let the dishes go. Let the inbox go. Let the expectations that are not essential go.